What's up, everybody? This is Dark Souls 3, and I am James, aka Red Scare Rex, or Red Scare. This is my starting character, my first starting character, Connell. It's a Herald. Pretty self-explanatory. I like Faith and Strength builds. I went with the Life Ring this time. It seemed to pack the biggest punch out of all the starting gifts. I'm kind of a little disappointed with them, quite honestly. No thief, master key or anything like that. Nothing really useful. Not even like a twin humanity. But Life Ring, it's a small increase in max HP, but it's better than nothing. Let's watch the first cinematic though. I'll shut up now. Looks like I rose from the ashes. There's a lot of dust and shit falling off me. It looks like it's my own grave. I can only assume they thought I was dead, and it turns out I'm undead, so I can't really die that way. Let's check out my equipment really quick. This is my first time playing Dark Souls 3. About my third time recording this audio. I'm doing post-commentary today. Couldn't really work out how to record last time. Not for, lack of trying. It's just, yeah. Common short spear that allows attacking with shield up. Spear attacks are centered on thrusting, but can inflict high damage when timed with the end of an enemy's swing. Shield Splitter is the skill. Take a large step forward and make a single focused thrust to puncture the enemy's shield and inflict damage. It's referring to counter damage there, and that looks pretty useful as the skill. Talismans for casting miracles of the gods. Once a very common item among the ranks of the Way of White. Once a common item, not now. Equip a talisman or a sacred charm to cast miracles. Miracles must be attuned to a bonfire. Yeah. Unfaltering prayer just seems to increase your poise. An orthodox metal shield. It's the Drangleic shield. Medium shields are the most average of shields, providing a practical balance of damage absorption and stability. Skill is parry. Hopefully it doesn't use any points this time. That kind of defeats the purpose of parrying, because it's a skill that requires, well, skill. Let's not limit that, guys. Herald Helm. Steel helm said to be worn by the heralds of the Way of White, who deliver commandments of duty. Protection made of steel has excellent physical absorption, but is found lacking against blunt strikes and lightning damage. If it has good physical, that's usually what they throw at you at the beginning, so it doesn't matter. Steel armor with a pure white cape, the signature of heralds of the Way of White. And then it's a repeat of before. It's interesting that the talisman was once a standard issue thing, but is no longer. Leather gloves said to be worn by the heralds of the Way of White, who deliver commandments of duty, yada yada yada. Pretty much the same as everything else. Like it says, pretty good physical defense, it looks like. Not in lightning or fire, but or magic for that matter, but yeah, pretty good overall. I think I'm going to keep this. Pretty light too, by the looks of it. Quilted trousers said to be worn by the heralds of the Way of White, who deliver commandments of duty. Life Ring. A generations-old ring set with a small red jewel. It raises maximum HP, and then there's a description of what rings are. If you guys didn't know, rings are things you put on your finger, and they have effects. Looks like there's 4 this time that you can equip. Alright, first enemy. Jump attack! That was done by pressing forward and R2. It is by far my favorite attack in the Souls games. Not as long a range as I would like, but I'll get used to it eventually. Little background, I've played a lot of the Souls games. In fact, I've played all the Souls games. Ashen Estus Flask. This is my first time playing Dark Souls 3. Extreme close-up! Yeah, I played Demon Souls, very recently beat Demon Souls, but it was the first one I played. Accidentally went with a Strength Faith build, so just kind of went with it. The undead treasure these dull green flasks, fill with Estus at bonfire, and drink to restore HP. The journey of an undead has always traced to the bonfires, and no journey of import has been made without an Estus flask. It always comes down to those two. They are emerald whenever they're not full of Estus energy from the bonfire. In their natural state, they're green. Undead treasure these dull ashen flasks, fill with Estus at bonfire and drink to restore FP. I don't know what that stands for, but quite befitting of an unkindled, an ashen Estus flask turns the bonfire's heat cold. That does not sound like a good idea. I don't want my bonfires to start going out on me, and for darkness to set upon the world and the flames to go out, but whatever. The dark sign is the sign of a cursed undead. The dark side returns its bearer to the last bonfire, or at Firelink Shrine. Let's just ignore that spoiler for now. But at the cost of all souls held. Carries over the dark side and reborn after death. If you're undead, you were born with it. A charm of farewell. These don't really have any lore to them, but it's anti-PvP or multiplayer. If you don't like who you've been paired off with, or if you don't want to do multiplayer, just use that. And this looks like the opposite. I think it's been given to me because I'm a herald. Yeah, it reestablishes the connection. So if you ever have any multiplayer problems, like you're not online or something like that, and you should be, just use that. Alright, so I'm starting off with the spear. I really like my shield. It's the Dragon Link shield from the previous game, but the spear, I think they're very nice. They're really, you know, sometimes fun to use, pretty good weapons overall, but kind of boring to watch. Alright, so that was a flame arrow. Don't know if all the flame arrows in this, or all the arrows in this game are going to be flame arrows, but, or a flame bolt, because it's a crossbow. Yeah, blocking is always a good idea for those. If you have a shield up, it's obviously not going to block anything, usually with normal weapons, especially a spear. But it's not going to block 100% of that damage because it has fire on it. It's getting hit by 100% of your physical damage protection, or absorption, I guess is the term they're going to settle on now. But it's not going to block any of that fire, so just keep that in mind. Or it's not going to block a lot of that fire. It's going to block some of it. That's how resistances work in this game, or absorptions. It has to go through your barrier of physical and whatever other elemental stuff. Alright, so I'm assuming they wanted me to backstab there, but fuck it. I learned that you can charge your R2s now, which is from Bloodborne, without the flashy, you know, ting, which I might miss, but this feels more like Dark Souls. Turn back. Yeah, I read it right. And that's written by the programmers. That's written by FromSoft. And last time they did that, there was a big fucking ogre, so that eats people in Dark Souls 2. So I'm not gonna fuck with that for now. I'm gonna come back to it. Yeah, I'll come back to it. Like I said, this is post-com, but I'm gonna try to, you know, tell you what I was thinking at the time. So far, I like. Oh, I really like that. I really like that. The skybox feels pretty familiar. The ground looks like very much Bloodborne with all the graves everywhere, but the skybox reminds me of Demon Souls. I think it was 1-4, the Valley of, Shrine of Storms. And of course I went with the curly hair, because this is one of the only games that actually gets curly hair right, and even gives it as an option. And I have curly hair in real life, I'm a ginger. But, doesn't seem to have any effect on my roll speed, so I'm just going to put it back on. And here we have a bonfire. It all starts with this. Alright guys, that's going to wrap us up for today's episode. Really short one. I'm just going to introduce, the series here. But thank you for watching. See you next time. I've been Red Scare, aka James. See you next time.